Welcome back, Year 6s, Year 7s. Welcome back to English Lesson 2. Last lesson you learned all about my grandma and her experience living through the Manchester Blitz. And today we're going to move over to a man called Maurizio, who lives across the seas. I'm not going to tell you where, but you'll be able to take a good guess over the next few slides, and then you'll get to meet him in the video. Enjoy. Now, at secondary school, you're going to meet probably hundreds of new people and hundreds of new potential friends. And you will absolutely learn who your friends are going to be, who your people are in due course, so don't worry about that. But one thing that we do want to challenge you on is social media. Now, many of you will have social media in your lives. You might have Snapchat, you might have TikTok, you might have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of these different platforms. And part of our job isn't just to teach you about English or maths or science, but it's also to teach you about how to stay safe. And you'll have various times throughout the year and throughout the week to discuss various things. And that is going to be the topic of today. We're going to practice your debate skills and arguing skills and persuasion skills, but with a topic that's really important. As you meet new people, you need to keep yourself safe when it comes to social media. So our big question for today is, are you aware of the risk of social media? We're going to read a text, we're going to have a debate, or you're going to have debates with people in your lives, and then you're going to argue your viewpoint, because I think I have quite a strong opinion about this, and I'd be intrigued to see whether you share it. Enjoy! Now, Maurizio is a really interesting human. He lives on the other side of the world, and you'll see underneath 3 logos that you, I reckon, will probably be familiar with. Now, Maurizio has worked for these 3 companies, and so I think he offers a really interesting angle and insight into a very different world from ours, but also an insight into particularly Snapchat, because it is our big picture for today about the dangers of social media. So watch his video. The dog is sadly not his, it's his colleague's dog, but Aidan is a bit of a legend. So watch his video and learn all about his take on social media from the inside. For retrieval questions, remember it's worth 1 mark each unless stated in the question. You don't need to write the questions out, and you don't need to answer in full sentences. This is just to give you a quick intro to him and his insights into the world of social media. Good luck! As I mentioned last lesson, it's always interesting and useful to know a little bit more about the background to the people or books or sources that you're studying. So throughout his video, he's mentioned various things, where he's from and the places that he's worked. Below, I've given you some of the terms that you might want to look up. You might want to Google where they are, go on Google Maps, look up the various companies on Wikipedia, see what they are all about. And I've also included an Expedia introduction to Los Angeles clip so that you can put his story into context and visualize it more vividly. Enjoy! So as I've mentioned, our focus for today is about social media and whether it's a positive influence in our world or a negative influence in our world, or whether it's a bit of both. Now, one of the companies Maurizio worked for was Snapchat. Many of you will have it, or if not, will know what it is. Adults have lots of opinions about whether it's good for you young people and whether you should have access to it. And over the next few slides and tasks, you're going to read various arguments for and against it. You're going to ask people their opinions, you're going to formulate your own opinions, and you're going to develop your debating, persuasive writing skills, your reading skills, and your listening skills. All very important skills for English at secondary school. So at secondary school, you will delve into different texts in a really, really deep and rigorous way. You will analyse them in a really, really close manner. It's called forensic reading. Think about it like a crime scene where you go into everything in minute detail to look for clues and to read between the lines to figure out the truth. That's what we'd like you to do today. The first thing I'd like you to do is have a look at the text. It's about the pros and cons, and it's written for an adult audience, really. The first task is to write down the meaning of any of the highlighted words that are pre-highlighted. You might know some already, but if not, look them up. And then at the bottom, there are some retrieval questions. I'd like you to answer those. You don't have to write in full sentences, but that will just solidify whether you've understood, the basics of the text. This text will be the grounding for your arguments and debates later in the lesson. Good luck. So now that you've read the text, I hope that you have a more complete and balanced understanding of the pros and cons of social media. What I'd like you to do is have a look at this statement. Social media is the devil, and teenagers should have access restricted until they're 16. To what extent do you agree with this statement? I want you to think about the text, think about your own opinion, and now have this discussion with the people you live with or with friends, and I want you to be gathering as many different ideas as possible. I've included some sentence starters because at secondary school, if you have a debate, we want you to be doing them in a really mature way. We want you to be listening to people and counter-arguing what they have said, but in a formal, respectful way. We don't want to hear the word like over and over again. We don't want to hear yeah, but. We want you to be using the phrases on the screen. So now take some time, discuss with the people around you. What are their opinions? What are your opinions? Can you gather both sides of the argument and come to some sort of conclusion? As you're doing this, on the next slide is a table for pros and cons, and I'd like you to be filling that out with your own arguments, with the arguments from the text, and with the arguments that have been given to you through these discussions. Good luck. Your purple zone in this lesson is to write up your findings and your opinion. Now, a blue learner today would make simple arguments on one side of the debate. So you'd be for or against and give a variety of reasons why. If you're aiming for green, which I hope lots of you are, that would be making justified arguments, so giving really credible, clear examples to back up your arguments, and to acknowledge and show that you understand that there are two sides to the argument. So you do acknowledge both sides of the argument, but you try to focus on what your opinion is and why the other side isn't particularly as important. For a red learner today, I want you to offer a really thoughtful and mature response that shows that you've thought about it on a more sophisticated level. These responses will probably be somewhere down the middle where you acknowledge both sides but come out in favour of one side slightly more than the other. But you do that by clearly undermining one side over the other. And you give really interesting and perceptive examples of the dangers or the positives that you may not have just picked out of the text. You might have thought of these, or you've gathered these from different people. So I'm looking for a more extended piece of writing, and I've given you some sentence starters to get you going and to formulate your argument. Really interested to see what you produce, Year Sixes. Good luck. Time is flying. We've come to the end of lesson 2 already. I hope that you found it interesting to hear from someone that's been on the inside of one of the world's biggest companies. We're very lucky to have had him be involved in this work, so thank you to him. my two reflections for you today are: which outcome do you think you hit in terms of your purple zone? Were you blue, green, or red, and why? And then, what are you going to take away from this lesson when you move to secondary school? When it comes to social media, how are you going to keep yourself safe? And how are you going to make sure that you use it in a healthy way that benefits you rather than send you down a negative path? So, really important questions to think about, and I will see you in lesson 3. Good luck, and bye.